Yes, Ji.
Okay, let's just close our eyes.
ना तीरथ में ना मूरत में ना एकांत निवास में ना तीरथ में ना मूरत में ना एकांत निवास में ना मंदिर में ना मस्जिद में ना मंदिर में ना मस्जिद में ना काबे कैलाश में मैं तो तेरे पास में मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे ना मैं जप में ना मैं तप में ना मैं भरत उपास में ना मैं जप में ना मैं तप में ना मैं भरत उपास में ना मैं क्रिया कर्म में रहता ना मैं क्रिया कर्म में रहता नहीं जोग संन्यास में मैं तो तेरे पास में मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे खोजी हुए तुरंत मिल जाऊं एक पल की तलाश में कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो मैं तो हूँ विश्वास में मैं तो तेरे पास में मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे
All right. So this is a beautiful Doha by Kabir. Kabir was radical, even in his time, you know, and I'm taking support of this Doha today to conduct this practice of meditation and pranayam, like being the last Sunday of the month. And so we keep talking about a few things in these practices that why are we doing yoga, right? Why are we doing this? Or are we even doing it? Or is it even necessary, right? So there are so many questions that arise in the mind. And one of them is very um, prominent is why? What is the purpose of all this, right? So can are we getting anywhere with this? Is there a spiritual progress? Is there something that going to be attained at the end of the day? Or we're just here and now, you know? And one thing is, I've realized over time since I've been doing this for the last, or rather, this mind body system, I was introduced to yoga when I was in my teens, and now I'm in my 50s. And what has happened in the last 30, 35 years? Has anything occurred? So my thing is like, I've realized one thing, that nobody gets entitlement. Through the practices, through the effort, through the purushartha that we're going to do, is okay, I'm going to attain this thing. None of that entitles you to ultimately experience the bliss that Kabirji is talking about. And why is that? So, because when we are seeking something, there is always a seeker. And as long as there is a seeker, there is a difference between that and the seeker. It never merges. The yoga never happens. So the practice today is, how are we going to then attain it? So Krishnamurti says it happens when you're least expecting it. So that expectator inside us is the problem. That is the main culprit, and which is the mind. And that mind needs to be either dissuaded in certain direction, or just drop the effort completely, stop seeking, conscious seeking. Okay, so that is something that also happens on its own accord. That the dropping of the effort also happens on its own accord. When does that happen? When you're completely exhausted with everything that you could possibly do. So Kabir is saying, you go wherever, you go to mandir, you go to masjid, you do yoga, japa, whatever. So what are these practices then? This whole idea of practice, like why is that even invented? And one thought comes to the mind is, we are only creating a conducive environment. You know, you take some seeds and you throw them, and those seeds can fall. Some seeds randomly, they're going to fall in the dirt. Some of them are going to fall on the rock. Rain falls, some drops are going to fall in the catchment area, and some are going to be puddled up in somewhere and they'll just dry out there, right? So if we create a conducive environment for just sleeping, for instance, you know, I sleep here every day. What do? I don't leave the lights on. I turn the lights off. I draw the curtains. I turn the music off. I say to Alexa, Alexa, stop everything. Everything just stops. So we create this surrounding environment which is conducive for us to fall asleep. There is nothing this mind and body can do to fall asleep. I mean, you can take pills and all, that's a different story. But on its own, if I try to fall asleep, we never fall asleep. So the more I try, the more awake I'm going to stay. So what I have to do is just let go of everything. And when that let go happens, is when this conducive environment is what we've created here. That's all there is possible for the mind and body to do. So this is what the practice is all about. It's just to create conducive environment, so that potentiality is there for something to happen. So same in meditation, we acquire all these yoga practices, meditation, pranayama, seating in certain postures. We are only creating a conducive environment so that meditation can happen. There is nothing, I cannot drag meditation into this mind-body system. There is nothing. So what is the conducive environment is we're going to study today. So let's begin. We can skip the prayer today because we have this wonderful bhajan by Jyothi ji, and I heard last night that she succumbed to cancer. And I met her a few times when Tattva Vedananda ji was here. And it's a sad loss to the world. And the thought of using her beautiful voice and beautiful prayer to kind of create a conducive environment today. And we can start with a warm-up exercise, the Kapalbhati. So let's sit in Chin Mudra. Get the anus lock up, the root chakra, the Mula Bandha, and exhale fully. Inhale half the lungs and begin. Exhale fully. So Kabir says, मैं तो तेरे श्वास में, मैं तो तेरे पास में. The prana is in the breath. And that's what we are practicing today, the pranayama, the other dimension. The other dimension of the prana. He didn't say, मैं तो तेरे विश्वास में. He said, in the श्वास में. The big difference there. We are creating conducive environment by doing this pranayama. So think about how many thoughts did you have in the last 30, 40 seconds? And the aftermath of that, the after effect of that is a calm and a tranquil mind. The calm and tranquil lake with not even one ripple in it. And the moon gets reflected in that. That reflection has to happen. And for that to happen, the mind has to be quiet so that it gets out of the way. Thought is the mind. And there is no thought. The mind is open to receive. There are no ripples, there are no thoughts on the lake. Let's repeat this one more time. Exhale fully. Breathe in half the lungs and begin. Exhale. Hold the breath out. Think about the analogy we used of the bedroom. We are only creating conducive environment. Experience that silence of the mind. Observe that there is complete silence. And silence is one aspect The noble silence is one aspect that channelizes the energy inward. One last round. Exhale fully. Breathe in half the lungs and begin. Exhale fully. The mind is tranquil. The body is awakened. You can feel the tingling sensations all over the body. Wherever you take your attention, you may feel that the body is vibrating at a certain frequency. You may feel the excitement of every cell. Both the nadis are balanced out. They're breathing equally. And we've created a certain conducive environment to move forward into the pranayamic practices. So we did last Sunday, we ran out of time. And we did Ujjayi, Pranayam, the type 3, type 2, and type 1. So today we're going to practice amarkruti. And we're going to practice sheetali pranayam and sheetkari pranayam. And since we've done Kapalbhati breathing, let's just do the Kapalbhati pranayam first. So we'll do 108 strokes. And then we'll do Bahya Kumbhak and Antar Kumbhak. So let's exhale fully. Breathe in half the lungs again. And let's do 108 strokes. Exhale fully. And then put your chin lock, put your Mula Bandha, and put your Uddiyana Bandha. All the three locks right here. Pull the tummy in. And take a deep breath. And let it go through both the nostrils. Take a normal breath. So remember, whenever we retain the breath either outside the body or the inside the body, inside the body is called antarkumbhak or just kumbhak. Not keval kumbhak, but kumbhak. That means your lungs are completely full. And it's also called rechak or bahya kumbhak when we hold the breath out. So rechak and purak is just your breathing that is happening. Breathe in, purak, breathe out, rechak, breathe in, purak, breathe out, rechak. But when you hold it outside and hold it inside, that suddenly the rechak and purak becomes bahya kumbhak or antar kumbhak. So we just did bahya kumbhak. And now we're going to do sheetkari pranayam. And then we'll also do sheetali pranayam. And then we'll do the combination of Kapalbhati pranayam and sheetkari pranayam, which is called the amarkruti. So if you want to open your eyes and observe how to do it, do the sheetkari pranayam. So this technique is very simple. So exhale fully. And you breathe in through the gaps of your teeth. Okay, so you open the mouth as though you have a big grin, like this, but your teeth are tightened together, meaning they are connected on top of the teeth, not aligned this way, not aligned that way, but on top of each other. So when you put your teeth on top of each other, there are gaps around the entire cavity there, which acts like a filter. Then you breathe in through that. So exhale fully, and you may watch the first time. Now this is the Antar Kumbhak. I'm going to put the Jalandhar Bandha here. I'm not going to put my Uddiyana Bandha. So because this cold air, let it sink into your entire lungs, drop your diaphragm, let the tummy come out. And Mula Bandha is always there in pranayam. Always. I will never tell you to release your Mula Bandha until noted otherwise. Okay? So that's how simple it is. So you hold it, then we come out, and then we release the air. All right, let's do it together. So exhale fully. Clench your teeth on top of each other. Release the Jalandhar Bandha and slow, prolonged exhalation through Ujjayi breathing. Constrict your epiglottis like the ocean breath. Take a few normal breaths here. Let's do it one more time. Exhale fully. So when you are holding the breath inside in the Antarkumbhak and the tummy is released, we're not doing the Uddiyana Bandha when the chest is full, the tummy is released. And what you have to do internally, as you may wonder, what am I doing? Just closing my eyes, and is there anything to do here? So the mind is always looking to do something, right? It can only exist in either in the past or in the present. I mean, sorry, in the future. It plans for something tomorrow. What am I going to do today? What's my day looking like? It wants to plan something, or it will go and dwell and linger into the past memories. Ah, what a wonderful time I had, or this person, that person. So all these memories are going to flood from the conditioning of the mind, right? So that way the mind stays active. And what we are trying to do here is to completely sort of suspend the thinking process so that the sky is cloud free. And then you can see beyond the clouds into that infinity. Okay. So, and this is what we're trying to do. It's one of the practices of creating conducive environment so that meditation can happen. Okay. So the analogy of sleeping, like I said, is like you're drawing curtains, you're turning the lights off, you're turning the music off, you're making sure the door is closed, no outer sounds are coming in. Kind of all those distractions have to go away. So for the mind, there is always distraction. One way or the other, it will look for some distraction. So hereby, we are reverse engineering this whole thing. Okay, so when the mind is racing, your breath rate also races. The mind has a direct correlation with the breath rate. And the yogis of the ancient past figured that out. Okay, so if I'm laughing too much, if I'm angry, if I am doing something which is agitating me, your breath rate, just observe. Next time, catch yourself, just observe. Close your eyes and see, where is my breath rate? Is the breath rate at 13, 14 a minute, or is that 20, 25 a minute? The normal breath rate of the human being is about 13 to 15 breaths a minute. And by agitated mind, that breath rate is going to go, because you're trying to figure out something, or you're upset about something, or something is going on that has thrown that balance off. So the yogis said, how about we do the reverse engineering? How about we quieten the mind so that it affects, it's mind over matter, right? So if the mind is quietened, the breath rate is going to quiet, is going to subside, is going to go slow. Your heart rate is going to go slow. Last week, somebody mentioned to me in the text saying that I never experienced my heart rate at going down to 60, 64. We've never experienced that. But this is what we're trying to do, because when the breath rate goes down, everything becomes tranquil. And your heart then also goes down, down, down. And then you become this complete tranquil person. And that is the moment when you fall asleep, because you let go of everything, right? So here I'm just using the analogy of sleeping, conducive to creating this meditation practice. And what is the meditation practice? That we calm the mind down. When the mind is completely thoughtless, meditation automatically happens. So we are reverse engineering all of this. Yoga is nothing but reverse engineering. And this particular yoga that we practice here, we are approaching it from the dhyana side, not from the asana side. Okay, so when you approach it from the dhyana side, it also affects your asanas. It's not a linear sequence, it's a simultaneous thing. 8 limbs are continuously being operated. Now, you may pick any limb anytime and affect the other limbs, you see? So it's not you have to master the yoga, master your yogic asanas, and only then you can practice pranayama and meditation. No, there is no such thing. There is no condition laid out anywhere in the Shastras. So it is being taught like that by many schools, unfortunately, but I don't believe in any of that. Okay, so let's just do one more time this sheetkari. Now we did twice. Okay, so let's just move on, otherwise we'll never catch up with the things. Now let's try the sheetali pranayam. So what is sheetali pranayam? Sheetali pranayam is you got to roll your tongue, not inward, but you got to taco it. Like you're holding like a taco in your hand. So you curve the tongue like this and create a little hole. Now that is genetically disposed, unfortunately. Some people are able to do it, some people cannot do it, and that's okay. The idea is that the breath, inward breath, is flowing over your tongue all the way into the lungs. So it's a cooling breath. And I know it's a winter time, you don't need that anymore, but we're just revising all these techniques so that, all right, here we go. So exhale and take your tongue out. If you cannot make a taco of that, it's okay. And take a deep breath. Jalandhar Bandha. Let the air sink into your system, but do not put your Uddiyana Bandha, but Mula Bandha is there. Hold the breath inside. And release the Jalandhar and exhale with balanced nostrils, with Ujjayi breathing out. Constrict your epiglottis. And feel the tingling sensations all over the body. And if you don't have it, it's okay. It is what it is. Accept that reality. The reality is always neutral. Just remember that. Like the movie screen is always white, it's neutral. And we project, the mind projects things on the screen of the reality. And we put labels on everything. We call things by names. And those names, those labels are nothing but required in the sansaric world. It's a sansaric truth that without these labels, we cannot operate in this world. But remember that it's not the Paramarthik Satya. It is only the Sansarik Satya. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. What is Paramarthik Satya and what is Sansarik Satya? Okay, so we practice Kapalbhati, we practice Kapalbhati Pranayam, we practice sheetkari Pranayam, we practiced sheetali Pranayam once. We'll do it one more time and then we'll move on to the next one. Exhale fully. Taco your tongue. Jalandhar Bandha. Moola Bandha. Exhale slowly. We are only trying to create gaps between the thoughts. Because the mind-body system is a material process. It's not ethereal, it's material. And when it is material process, it involves prakriti, it involves shakti, it involves some level of effort. A thought needs energy, needs shakti. It's all happening at the periphery of the circle. And the tranquility is what is needed. The reverse engineering, like we said earlier, is one of the conducive environments for the meditation to happen. This is what the pranayama does, pratyahara does. And dharana also does the same thing. Okay. So open your eyes. So now we're going to try a new technique called bhoojangi pranayam. What is bhoojangi pranayam? We've never done that. We're going to practice today. So there is a message in the chat. Today I learned in Taittiriya Upanishad, we experience anandam in deep sleep. So the same way through dhyanam, we experience Satchitananda. Okay, very good. Bharatiji, thank you for your comment. So since I'm away from the screen, what I would like you to do is, if there is any question or need some clarification, since you guys are muted, in Zoom, there is a facility, you just press your space bar on the computer and you can talk. It becomes a walkie-talkie. So you can say whatever you want and then release the space bar, you will be muted again. All right, so thank you so much. That was wonderful. Okay, so we're going to try bhujangi pranayam now. What is bhujangi pranayam? You know how we do the bhujangasana? We bend backwards, right? We put your hands there and then we imitate the cobra, the excited cobra. So the bhujangi pranayam is about taking the tongue and folding it backward. So initially we created a taco like this. Now we're going to create the taco backward. So you fold your tongue in and take the tip of the tongue and see if you can connect it to the roof of the mouth in the Khetsari mudra, something like that, okay? So, but this is not quite the Khetsari. It is kind of like Khetsari, what we do, right? So what it is you use the upper teeth and fold your tongue like that. So you create this kind of scenario where the tongue is folded backward. Okay. So let's do inhale. So we are inhaling from the sides of the mouth now because the tongue is going to block the front. So the inhalation happens on the side. And all of these cooling pranayams that we are practicing, there are physiological benefits. Those who are suffering from acidity, swellings of the intestine, like if you have any hypertension, all of that will go away because of that, because it's all connected within, right? So it cools the belly down. There's too much fire in the belly, too much acid, so much bile is being secreted that eats into your stomach lining. All of those problems are kind of reduced by doing these cooling breaths. Okay. And you will sleep well also, because acidity has direct correlation with whether you get a good night's sleep. And a good night's sleep is very important to get the rest for the mind and the body. So let's do bhoojangi pranayam. So what is bhoojangi pranayam? Let's practice that first. And let the air go. Don't hold it. Okay, let's try it again. Exhale by constricting the epiglottis, prolonged exhalation. So no antarkumbhak is required right now. So now we know how to do it. Let's do the antarkumbhak. Okay, so let's breathe in and then put the Jalandhar lock right here. No Udyana Bandha, but Mula Bandha is always there. Keep reminding yourself. Mula Bandha, every 15-20 seconds, Mula Bandha, because we'll keep forgetting. And once we get into this habit of doing Mula Bandha, it will not let the energy, it will lock the energy basically. All right, so here we go. Exhale fully. Exhale. Let's try one more time. Get into the Bhujangi Pranayam Mudra. Bhujangi Mudra. Jalandhar Bandh. Exhalation. Okay. be, just be with that tranquility inside. मैं तो तेरे श्वास में, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मुझको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे. It's here and now. Kasturi Kundal Vase. Another beautiful thing Kabir has said. The Kasturi fragrance that the deer experiences doesn't understand where it is coming from. It keeps running around in the forest in search of that fragrance. That is what most of us are doing. We're searching, looking outward in the temples, in the worship places, in the yoga, in wherever you're searching, except the being is right here and now. Moko kaha dhoonde re bande. So Kabir is saying, let's not seek out there. And if you're here and now, it's right here. And now we're going to practice amarkruti. So amarkruti is a combination, those who are new to this practice, it's a combination of Kapalbhati. It's a combination of sheetkari together. And for that, we have to assume certain posture. And what is that posture? So you may open your eyes. And you have to lean forward and take your hands and turn them inward like this and put them on your knees so that your elbows are pointing onward. And you put all your body, upward body pressure on your knees like this, okay? But when I tell you to do that, assume this particular mudra in this posture. And the idea is when you do that, your tummy basically becomes loose, okay? So, so let's practice Kapalabhati, 108 strokes. Exhale fully. Inhale half the lungs and begin. Exhale fully. And put the tri-lock, lean forward, Jalandhar Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Mula Bandha. Pull your tummy in. And as you release the Jalandhar Bandha, get into sheetkari mode. That means you clench your teeth and breathe in. And then do Antar Kumbhak. Release your Jalandhar Bandha and only Udyana Bandha. Release the Udyana Bandha, put only Jalandhar Bandha and Mula Bandha. Release your tummy and bring your entire attention to your navel, to your Manipur chakra. Focus all your energy right there at the solar plexus. You're holding the breath in. It's an Antar Kumbhak. And release the Jalandhar Bandha only. Keep the Mula Bandha. And exhale, prolonged exhalation. So amarkruti is a part of kriya, part of hatha yoga practices, and it's extremely effective to tranquil the mind. And remember what we said, no matter what we do, there should not be any expectation or sense of entitlement. Let go. Because doership is the main problem, the main hindrance. That's the danger that a yogi develops over time by his practices, that I have done so much and I'm entitled to samadhi. There is no entitlement. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the truth. Drop all that doership. Just observe from within. Observation is the only thing which is something that can happen on its own accord. Even there is nothing to be done. Being Sakshi is the true nature of the being. It just witnesses everything that happens around it. It witnesses the mind. And that is the Turiya Avastha that the Upanishads talk about. Shankaracharya is talking about in the Pratasmarami Stotra. Yat swapna jagara sushuptam avaiti nityam tat brahma nishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangaha. Yat swapna jagara sushuptam avaiti nityam. He's talking about the three states: sleeping, dreaming, and waking state. And the fourth one is the turiya. Swapna jagara sushupti mavaiti nityam. So that nitya, what is nitya? The being. Rest everything is anitya. Everything is temporary except for the being. That is the ultimate truth. And that being is all there is. All there is the ocean. The waves are just the waving ocean. We are all the waves. Everything that we see, everything is nothing but a wave. And what is the nature of the wave? It rises, it swells to the crest, and then it starts going down to the trough. The crest and trough, that is the nature of waving. Ebb and tide. Waxing and waning, waxing and waning. Day and night, day and night. This is all the duality. So waxing and waning is nothing but part of the duality. The waving of the ocean. It appears that the wave has its own existence, but it's not the truth. The ultimate truth is, it's only the ocean that is waving. It's only the Brahman that expresses itself and disappears. It expresses and disappears. Appears and disappears. And Buddha has said that this appearance and disappearance happens at such high frequency. Such high frequency that it appears to us that the objects of experience exist. That is the Maya. Maya is nothing but that this appearance that the reality creates by appearing, disappearing at such a high rate. Let's take the example of a light bulb, right? This light bulb is burning right here, right now. That frequency of the electricity is changing so fast. It's happening so fast that we think that the bulb is continuously there. But it's actually turning on and off, on and off, on and off. It's the AC-DC cycle, whatever they call it, the engineers, right? So that frequency is there in everything, not just this light bulb. Even this bed, even everything, even we seeing each other. We are appearing and disappearing. The mass, as we call it, appears and disappears so fast that it always seems to be there. And that is the illusion that the Maya creates for us. And what is the yogic system doing? We are trying to break that. We're trying to get through it. We're trying to break through this matrix that is created by the Maya or the Prakriti, so that we go beyond and the wide sky opens up. And the only way described in the yogic system is to create a conducive environment so that we experience that tranquility, right? So that is the ultimate thing that you have to always keep in the mind on the back burner, that we are doing all of this because of da, 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 da. We're not entitled for anything. Okay, so We'll do one more round of amarkruti, and we'll take a break for 5 minutes to get up and then loosen up, because then we're going to sit in the meditation for a long time. So let's get into Kapalbhati, 108 strokes. Then you're going to bend forward and do the Tribandha, the Mahabandha as they call it. So pull your tummy in and up into the cavity. So you create this little kind of a bridge. It's called the Noli. You create that bridge. And then you create Jalandhar Bandha right here. The Mula Bandha is always there until I tell you to release. So Mula Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, and Udhyana Bandha. All of them, trilock. So let's get into Kapalbhati, 108 strokes. Exhale fully. Breathe in half the lungs and begin. Exhale fully. Complete Baya Kumbhak. Lean forward. Mula Bandha, Udhyana Bandha, and Jalandhar Bandha. Jalandhar Bandha. Release the tummy. Mula Bandha. Release the Jalandhar. Prolonged exhalation. Breathe normally. Those who just want to continue sitting, you may do so. Open up your legs and take a break. So let's sit comfortably, cross-legged, or however you want to sit. You can sit in Vajrasana if you feel like. Keep your neck and spine erect. Assume Chin Mudra. Close your eyes and bring your complete attention to the breathing. Let's try to recall The words of Kabir, Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere shwas mein, main to tere paas mein. The words need time and space. Matter needs time and space. Energy needs time and space. So let's observe the breathing process. We are done manipulating the breath, and we're going to dive deep inside our own being. And by observing the breath, it is like a string that you hold and descend deep, deep, and deep. As your breath is going to slow down, your heart rate is going to slow down, your breath is going to become shallower and shallower while it takes us deeper and deeper. And observe. Be fully alert. Swapna jagara sushuptama vaiti nityam. Tat brahmanish kalamaham nacha bhuta sangaha. So the yogi attains the turiya avastha. And that attainment is not an entitlement, it's an happening. It only happens when the seeker drops, when the seeking drops. The seeker and the seeking, the two sides of the same coin. The seeking stops, the seeker stops. So when the driga and drishya goes away, only drashta remains, the sakshi remains. And that is what we may or may not experience. The being, the nature of the true being is just being a witness of everything, the turiya avastha. The turiya is the fourth state of the mind, where everything drops and just be. Keep observing the breath going in and out, in and out. The Rechak and Purak process is completely governed by the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the bodily intelligence. And leave it alone. It does its job very well. There is no need for us to interfere that. Just observe the body's breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, breathing out. In, out. in, out. Neti, neti. I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not this. So that which is mine is not me. That which is mine is not me. That which is mine is not me. My body, that which is mine is not me. Keep reminding yourself, whatever we see is not me. Anything that you can call this is not me. Whatever you can wrap your mind around is not me. So the body is not me. The thoughts are not me either. Because the thoughts, I can wrap my mind around them. Body, I can wrap my mind around it. I am not the body. I am not the mind. Just observe the mind-body system, breathing, wandering in thoughts. The mind wanders. Just recognize that the mind has wandered. If there is a thought in the mind, just observe that there is thought in the mind. There is a tranquil lake, and the ripples cannot be calmed down by jumping in the water. Don't get wet. Don't get involved in any thought. Keep yourself dry and clean, untouched. Equanimity of the mind. Complete balance of the mind. One attribute of the mind is chanchal. It's never stable. It's always wants to do something. Mind only exists because it does something. It needs that fuel. What is the fuel? The thought is the fuel. In all these yogic practices, basically trying to deprive the mind from that fuel by creating thoughtlessness for even a split second. Create the conducive environment through dharana, concentration of the mind on the breath, this object of concentration, which is the breathing. The mind wanders. The moment we realize the mind has wandered, it will come back to your nostrils to see the breath, to witness the breath. Rechak, Purak, Rechak, Purak. What a beautiful system. The breath has become so shallow, it almost feels like it's not breathing. Let's bring our hands to the heart center in Pranam Mudra. You may open your eyes if you want to. The Pranam Mudra is a very amazing mudra if you realize that there are 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas. And they all, 10 of them come together right here. There are 2 aspects. One is something that you can see, and one is something that you cannot see, which is hidden behind. That is what Pranam Mudra represents. Something that is seen and something that is not seen. And all the 10 Indriyas, Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas come together to form the Pranam Mudra. They all become one. Let's take a deep breath and say Omkar. Take a deep breath. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Chavaidikena Yopa Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Avahu Purushakaram Shankha Chakra Siddharinam Sahasrar Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Rub your palms vigorously. And gently cup your eyes and look deep inside the Chidakash. And whatever you see, whatever you experience, just keep it to yourselves. So Kabir said in one of the Dohas, Hira payo gaat gatiyayo, bako bar bar kyun khole hai. So what he's saying is, like, just I mentioned, that just came to me, that whatever you see, whatever you experience, just keep it to yourself. So Kabir is saying, if you find a diamond and you take your handkerchief and you put the diamond in it and put the knot on it so you don't lose it, put it in your pocket. And then every 5 minutes you open that and see if the diamond is there or not. You put it back again after about 15, 20 minutes, you take it out again, see if the diamond is there or not. So he's saying, why are we doing that? There's no reason. Because you experience something, you just keep it to yourself. Because we said, whatever you experience, you are not that. And whoever is experiencing that, you are not that either. Okay, so with that, we close today's session, and I'll see you on next Sunday. Anybody has any questions, comments, please. Okay, stop recording.